Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's Mr. Slaby here via the internet. Hey, I just want to let you know that you're in good hands today. I am at the SLP Service Day, so I'm not far away, but we're doing good for the community. So hopefully, your chance to commit some of your service to the community is to commit your creativity and your thoughtfulness today to the world. That's the idea. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. This is a day of work for you, and I hopefully creative, fun work. So I'm just going to quickly go through it. Ultimately, your task today is go right to Google Classroom as soon as attendance is taken, and you've gotten a chance to meet Miss Rumi. She's now live and on the internet at the same time. So after that's taken place, your task will be to go to Google Classroom. So let's go there. Here it is. And you'll notice I've pinged you probably on your iPad, but our task today is to build a character. Now, this is something we will use later on, so everyone will do this, but you who are in the classroom today, you actually get to do a bit of a head start. This is assigned on Thursday during the SLP field trip, but everyone will do this at some point. So let's dive in. Here we go. If I click on it, you each have your own copy. So remember to click that little icon that takes you to Google Docs. That's how you write on this. But let's look at the directions. You're really building a character, and the idea is that the character lives in the world of seed folks. So you will begin construction of an original character that you create. Give your character life through characterization the way that authors do in the novels. We've talked about this. These are the 5 ways: a character's appearance, a character's speech, character's thoughts, character's actions, and a character's relationships. You're going to work through that today. Here are the requirements. Provide at least 3 examples, at least 3. You can have more. Yes, go crazy, be creative. Possible characteristics for each of the 5 methods, not just one, but all 5. 2, be creative, but don't get silly. Keep this realistic. Don't make your character a walking alligator that flies through the air on bubbles. All right? Yes, it's cute, it's cuddly, but it's not realistic. The challenge here is to create an interesting person that can exist, not SpongeBob SquarePants in Seed Folks Land. All right? Be thoughtful. Don't just write down the first thing you think of. Think more deeply. You will have a million ideas. Don't just write down the first one and say, I'm done, done, check, moving on. It's not creative and it's not thoughtful. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in going deeper than that. 4, fill the space provided with detailed descriptive sentences instead of short weakly worded examples. Here's an example of a good example. Let's say I'm working on speech. All right, my first example in the speech category. I'm thinking, I start writing. And then I think of a kid that I knew a couple years ago. So here's what I wrote. This character has a slightly Russian accent and only knows a few words in English, but she doesn't want anyone to know she doesn't speak much English. So she memorized a bunch of sayings like, it's cool, man, and I got you, to hide this. This is actually based on a real kid I met about 7 years ago. Don't try to invent everything. Think about people you know. But your example should be detailed and descriptive. Look at this one. Has a Russian accent. Yeah, it sort of says the same thing, but there's no detail there. There's a million people, more like maybe even a billion people with a Russian accent. It's the story, what their accent is like. How does it sound and why do they do it? That's where you get a really interesting character. 5, consider the characteristics of people in your life. The things they say, things they do, the way they look, the relationships they have, the emotions they feel, and the ideas they think. These are important things. People you know. Construct your characters with a little piece from people that you know or that you've seen. So here's how it works. In each category, I have three bullet points, and you just start writing, right? You start putting your work in, and then you go to the next one. And the more descriptive you are, the better your work will be. Hopefully, the more fun you will have. This isn't for sharing yet. Don't share yet. Although I'm not asking for a super quiet, dead quiet room, but don't distract each other with goofy, like, hey, look what I wrote, look what I wrote. Save that for a different time. So there they are, all 5 characteristics and characterization. And notice I have a bonus here. This is, if you get down here, this is really taking your character to a next level. What is a weakness your character has? What is something they want to get better at, find, or solve in their life? Think about all the characters in Seed Folks we've read about. All of them are searching for something. All of them have a weakness. and all of them have a problem to solve somehow. Lastly, give your character a name. Don't start with a name. And this is where things can get silly, so that's why I'm saving it for the last. But if you're going to put a name there, it's probably not going to be, Smarty McSmarty Pants or Slappy McSlap. Don't, don't get to the silliness. At the very end, maybe have some fun with that, but not until you really put some thought into it. And then by then, you probably won't want to give them a silly name. So there you go. Um, that's your work for today. You may work out in sort of the area around the room. You can work out in the room, but it should be a quiet work day. You can listen to music if you want on your headphones, but it's a work day. It's not a slough off day. And remember, if we have issues, I will talk to you tomorrow, and it won't be fun for either of us. Lastly, let's say you get done really fast. There's other stuff to do. You still might have to finish your yellow sheet for the outside reading assignment. That might be still something you have to do. How about a Virgil's chapter and your critique of his dad? Maybe you're not done with that. Or how about your comparison to facts? We're now 3 weeks removed from facts. Did you finish this assignment? Still in there. Still this, some of you still don't have this, the measuring race and ethnicity work that we did way back when we talked about Anna. Something that's still there. And lastly, you have your summary work, which you continue to work. So today is a work day. Expect to see and hear good reports from you. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.